Mishnah's Megillah Nikres. Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Dalet. From where we learn, there's a special Indian. Prepare in advance, right? Megillah's only on Tov. You start early. Really,
thank you so much. It's thank you. The honor, the privilege.
More than 30 days. More than 30 days. Yeah, but
we're actually in Tosfos, so just as Emes is thank you for the cover of learning together. Megillah. There's two, as a Gdoma in Mesechta Megillah, two interesting things. First of all, it's brought down in Sifas, I believe, that the Chasam Sofer had a minhag that every Rosh Chodesh Seuda he would start learning Mesechta Megillah. So this was the minhag of Chasam Sofer to learn Mesechta Megillah. His minhag actually was to finish by Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So we're going to do it a little bit quicker than that. We're going to try to finish by Purim, but he finished a bit later. In the Rash Mishans from the Shiurim writes that there's a mitzvah to learn Megillah every single day. Because there is a mitzvah to remember the Mulek. The Rash Mishans from the Shiurim that the inyan of doing that is to learn Megillah, because Megillah is the inyan of celebrating the Ness of Purim, which is the inyan of Haman and Mulek. So you can make a mitzvah every day learning Megillah of Mechiyas HaMulek. So it's a separate inyan of learning, and it's brought down. There were many tzaddikim which after Nais is brought another tzaddikim which used to learn Megillah every single day the whole year, just for this reason of the inyan of Mechiyas HaMulek. So we have an extra addition.
Easier to say Zocha or Sashez.
Yes, yes. But the Rash Mishant has a diik that in the based on Mechilta, Lushon Mechilta is that it says over there Zocha Shos HaMulek Shtei Shoyne B'Pichu. Shoyne is a term which is you lose Shoyne B'Alochos, you learn. Shoyne does not mean just repeat; it means also to learn. So that's what his diik is. You should learn Zocha Shos HaMulek. How do you do it? By learning Mesechta Megillah. So the Mishnah. Megillah Nikras B'Yid Aleph B'Yid Beis. It's going to be Aleph Yid Beis B'Yid Gimel B'Yid Aleph B'Tezvov L'Toches V'Layes. The Megillah can be read in any of these days. We'll see the Gemara in the Mishnah will be Mas Bariches, which the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th. These are all the days which is Rui for the Megillah to be read. It is like the Mishnah. Everybody knows that here we celebrate in 2 days, the 14th and the 15th. Most cities in the world, London including, and most cities they celebrate on the 14th. And any city which has a Chaim of Yemaisa Shir Benin, as we'll see in the Gemara wide after Yemaisa Shir Benin, they celebrate Purim on the 15th. If it's a city which is and surrounded by walls from the days of Shir Benin, so they read in the Chamishus on the 15th. Now we get to two types of categories: villages and larger cities. So a kfar is like a village. I come from a village, Mansi, a little village over there. Kfar, that is a village over there. And larger cities. They all read on the 14th. Like where Minik boss. Elu. This is Bisman Chazal. The kfarim, they have a choice. If they want, they can be magdim their kriya to the market day. Why the market day? So Rashi says over here, the reason is because most of these villages over here, it didn't have so much the capabilities of reading Megillah by themselves. So therefore, since the enemies had to come into town every single Monday and Thursday to the larger towns, either this reason over here is because we see the Gemara because of the market. Rashi says the reason is because they want to be able to go to the courts to be able to sort of take care of anything they need to take. So there was the courts every Monday and every Monday and Thursday to sit to Kunas Ezra, already early Takuna. It should be like that. Therefore they had a takuna that they can go in to read Megillah early in those days. And this is a big mechagos of Shainim, but you won't get into who read for them in those days. Was it themselves or someone else read for them? Because how could someone else read for them if that person's not mechiyev? And that's questionable because could be he could. Who says he can't read for someone in an early day? And this is a whole separate discussion. If a B'nai Yerushalayim can read for someone in B'nai Brak, if he comes to B'nai Brak that day, and this leads into this conversation. This is machlokes of Shainim, very Rashi and other Shainim, but Rashi's mashma that they would have someone from these larger villages which would read for them the Megillah when they came into those days. So how does it work out? If the 14th falls out on a Monday, it's Kfarim Yuz Gedolos, the villages and Yuz Gedolos, they all read B'Yom on the correct day because the villages have no reason to read earlier because they have the right day. It's on Monday. And the Bekufas Chaim, they read on the 15th. So this is the normal. This is how we are used to the 14th, the 15th, and the 2 days. If it falls on a Tuesday, or it falls on a Wednesday. For Magdimen, The villages there, Magdim and Liyam Knisa, they go either back one day earlier, so either to Yud Gimel or to Yud Beis, they go back to in order to read on Yom Knisa. We use Gedolos Karim Bebiyam, and the normal villages read on Tuesday and Wednesday. In Bekufas Chaim and Mucha, they read the following day on the 15th. So here you have over here sort of three sort of categories: the villages, the normal, and the larger, and the one surrounding the walls. Chaliyas Bechamishi falls on a Thursday. Is Vata. Purim Seuda, they read on the correct day on Thursday. And Bekufas Chaim and Mucha, they read on the following day, on the 15th on Friday. Chaliyas Erev Shabbos falls on a Friday, and this is not possible in our calendar. We cannot have Purim falling out on a Monday. No, because this is Obizman Chazal, which is Makal Shafi Chodesh. So fall any day of the week, but in our calendar, Purim cannot fall out not on a Monday, and therefore it's not shaykh all these examples over here. But this is Zman Chazal. Yeah, on a Friday could fall out, yeah, but not on a Monday. Yeah, is that correct?
Sunday.
This year is Sunday. This year Sunday is correct. This year Sunday. Yeah, this is Chal Shabbos. It falls on a Friday. For the Knisa, the Kfar, they mark the Knisa, which is a Thursday. And here, the Mukufas Chaim don't read because you can't read on Shabbos. So they also mark them to read right now on a Friday, like at Shul they do as well. If it's a Purim Seuda, they read on the Yerushalayim, they read on the Friday rather than reading on Sunday. Chaliyas b'Shabbos falls on a Shabbos, which again is not possible. Purim v'Yuz Gedolos on our calendar. Purim v'Yuz Gedolos Magdim and Mekayim Yom HaKnisa, they go back to the Thursday. And Mekifas Chaim and Lemucha, they read the following day. Alis Achla Shabbos falls on a Sunday. Is Kfar Magdim Yom HaKnisa, they go all the way back right now to Thursday. So this is the only example of the reading on the 11th, because they go back there so far back, they go to Thursday, which is the 11th. The Yuz Gedolos Karim B'Yam, they read on the Sunday. And Mekufas Chaim and Lemucha, they read on the 15th, which is the following day. So there's a in the Mishnah. So there's a Tesante question which is asked in the Shiurim. What if it's a town which has a suffix? They don't know. Yeah, it's hard to know exactly if you have a wall surrounding from the times of Shiurim or not. Very, very little evidence to the archaeological evidence. So which day did they read? Did they read on the 15th or the 14th? You have a suffix, a town which has a suffix. They don't know when the walls how far back. The Shemar Masbeh, we can't start having a suffix like every single city in the world. Maybe it's a had a wall because it's unlikely. Very few cities in the world are existing so far back. Was it 3,000 years ago? What? Yeah, no. So we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. So therefore, the Rambam holds if you know it's a suffix, it means it is a reasonable suffix. You have to read them both days. But other Chaim say that no. Either the Ramban says that you don't have to because we go after Rav. But most cities don't have a rule from the times of Shiurim. The Ram says, because only the Rabbunan is suffix the Rabbunan lekila. Why am I mentioning this? Because the Chaim are medayek in our Mishnah. For the Mishnah, if you look at the Mishnah, it says over here, usually the Mishnah, the way it always works is it says it says both examples. It says if it has a wall, it lines in the 15th. If it doesn't have a wall, it lines in the 14th. The reason why the Mishnah doesn't say this over here, because that would imply that if it doesn't have a wall, it has to be certain it didn't have a wall. But if it would have by chance a wall, you would lay in the Megillah on the 15th. Is the Mishnah's Medik, it says over here that only if we know for sure, only a village which we know for sure that it had a wall from the time of the Shiurim, only those do they read from the 15th. But any city which we don't know for sure, and we don't read read the Megillah on the 15th. That being said, in many places they wore makbid. They do read on the 15th, even a suffix like places like in Tveria. They read because of a suffix of. It's not in Tveria because many Chaim hold this. The Mesechta Shainim, like you mentioned, but many Shainim hold this not only next to Shul, and the Chitzut as well. Like Shushim was a Chitzut. It's any place in the Chitzut which has a wall, which from the time of the Shiurim, you read from the 15th. And this was relevant in Prague. In Prague, the minhag was many years Shemaim used to be makbid to read Megillah on both days because they held that Prague has a wall from time to Shiurim. In the very old city, Prague. I don't know if that's scientifically being verified. England definitely does not have any cities dating back then, but Prague does. It was also in Hungary, this town called Temeshvar, which they also kept 2 days. In Damascus, they kept 2 days. In Baghdad, they kept 2 days. Various other Iranian cities, they kept 2 days, which makes sense in those type of places over there. But because many Chaim held that you have to be makbid if there's a chance that the wall was predating so far back. So there was throughout Europe and throughout Asia, there are various places where they had a minhag to keep 2 days Purim. but it's very seldom. And even then, it wasn't the majority. It was only a select few people who did like that.
Only Mikros Megillah they did 2 days.
Yeah. It's on. They didn't. They didn't do the both
Oh, no,
days.
yes,
So-
no, that's it.
No, it's
No, it's only
Zachar,
2
you
years.
get Zachar
Yeah,
Megillah.
I heard that. I thought.
That is a shal of Jachan. Speak about the Bratza. That's the first speak about it. We'll speak about more, but maybe get to more Behemshah Mesechta. We'll give more examples. So the Gemara, Megillah in the cross, Be'echadus, it's read in the letter. The Gemara, how do we know? So Megillah, Kedivin in Lamayim, the Kamal, the the following Gemara will see Chachom Mekilia Kfar, Medius Magdim, the Chachom, Micah for the Kfar, Lema Knisi, Kedai, she is speaking Mayim and Mosin, Achen, Shebekachem. Now, this is not the reason I said before. I said a different reason, completely like Rashi. I said the reason is because they don't know how to read, so they have to come in anyways. The Gemara says a completely different reason, and this is the Shal of Chaim Shul Rashi, but the text is very prushit. The bigger reason the Gemara says to be right now, that the Amos says they have to come and be able to provide, food. Chazal wanted that they should be free on those days to provide food. The Gemara will talk about more barichas. We'll get to it Mesechta in the next few days. We'll get to that Gemara. But the question is, why to Monday? Let them come on any day. We need them the day of Purim. People see the Mishnah is very important to celebrate. Therefore, we have to have the grocery stores open, the supermarkets. We need to have the people from the villages coming to provide all the food, and they bring all the meat and the chickens and the fruits and vegetables. So why does it have to be marking to Monday and Thursday? There was a Rashi because Monday and Thursday, they always have to come because your mechanism is different. You might as well make it that day. But again, we'll get to the Gemara more barichas and see there was different ways of learning what the reason is for over here. So most of the year right now, we know there's a reason. What do you mean why they read 11? There's a reason why they read 11. So now our following questions like this. Merde, killer Achaknes Tagdela Tiknidi. We know for sure that the Achaknes Tagdela, they were all massacred in the entire days when you read the Megillah, which day of the week you read the Megillah. The East of Kedat, because if it's not the case, you say that Achaknes Tagdela, Arba Usta V'Chemeshusta Tik, and they want to massacre the 14th and the 15th. And also the Rabban of Oket Takati Takini, and the Rabban later Rabbanim came afterwards and say, no, you know what? Not on the 14th and the 15th, any single day, that cannot be. Wutnan. There's a cloud that once a bezna was massacring something, a later bezna cannot come in and change that takuna unless they agreed, which is usually not the case. So how could it be the Ashkenaz like they were massacring to read Purim only the 14th and the 15th, and come later Rabbanim and say, you know what, maybe let's make it 12 for the 11th as well. So we have to find the Remes in the Megillah, which we see the Ashkenaz Megillah were also allowed earlier days as well. Once we find the Remes to that, we say, okay, fine. Well, actually, not to that, we see that they allowed any other day as well. This is all an original part of the Takuna Ashkenaz Tagdela to read all these other days. Where's the Remes in the Megillah? The person now is Zmanayim. There's many days. Not just 2 days, but there's many days you can read the Megillah. Zmanayim. We need it for the thing itself. We need to say what? Bizmanayim, but you can read in the 14th and the 15th, those 2 days. So because they're in the correct times. Why? What's Zmanayim? Mazmanayim, which is plural, which applies more than that. Zmanayim tiva, many more days. We see later the Gemara that we make a dik that everybody has to read on their days. Mean to say you cannot have, I'll write either. The Bnei Yisraelim have a choice, either the 14th or the 15th. No. Zmanayim, Zmanay Kazer, like Zmanay Kazer. You have your day, you have your day. There's no changing about and deciding which you want to do over here. It's click what has to be over here. They cannot. Yeah, of course. They could choose whether to be a Ben Yishleim or Ben Bnei Brak, but they cannot choose the Ben Yishleim to wake up and say, we're going to read Megillah a day earlier. So if that was a deal, because Lama Crew would have been enough to say Zmanam, which was already a plural. In Kain, my Zmanayim, what's Zmanayim, which applies further. Shma'amino killer, Zman, Zmanam, Zmanayim. So we have to be able to make all these deikah from the same pustik over there. There's many days. I'm the Zmanam Tiva. Means to say maybe from a Shchayda Shuda, you can start learning Zmanam. The entire Shchayda Shuda from today, you can make it already. Whatever you want to be Zmanayim. Many days. I read it's only those days. So the Gemara, Zmanayim, Dimit Zmanam. Maz Zmanam tried because the Ikka pustik is referring to 2 days, which is Tezvov and Tezayin, Yedalat and Tezvov. As my name, which is Maber, additional 2. So besides Yedalat and Tezvov, we have an additional 2 days to read Megillah as well. It's the same means the 12th and the 13th. We said you read the 11th from the 12th to the 13th, 14th, 15th. We're adding additional 2 days. We only know the 12th and the 13th. How do we know the 11th? That is man killer, Rashi and top on that side. that the 13th was the day where everybody got together to take revenge on the Goyim, and those who wanted to take, to stand up against the Eden. What happened was that all the cities on the 14th they rested, but the Bnei Shishon they had one more day, so they also fought a war on the 14th, and the 15th they rested. We make Purim on the day that they rested. Yom HaShanuchim, the days which they stopped fighting. That's the day of Purim. But the 13th was that was part of the nest. The 13th was this day which was they were fighting the battles. So 13th is the Gemara. I don't need to have a positive imam that I can celebrate Purim on the 13th because 13th is Purim. 13th is Purim. That's the day they fought the war. That is Purim. I don't need to be imam the 11th and the 12th because Ma'achatai is 11th and 12th. What happened to those? Nothing happened to those days. So the 14th and 15th says in the Pasuk explicitly. The 13th, we know Purim to be the day because all we need is a remez. All we need to find is a reason to say that's a good day to make Purim. The 13th was the day they fought the battle against all the Malaikim. That's the day they won over there. So you don't need a Pusuk over there. However, the Shainim don't understand Rashi because Rashi is very difficult over here. Because first of all, the 13th is the Torah says, the Megillah says explicitly that the day they celebrated was the day that they rested, not the day that they fought. So then Rashi says the 13th is even better. Things back in the 13th is worse. 13th is not a good day to celebrate Purim. Some say this only feel as the Remes it's enough. You're right, Ikadei attack is the 14th and the 15th. But the Remes to sort of connect us with Purim is enough the 13th as well because they have the Shachris of Purim. But the Bain Tam is Chodik. The Bain Tam says no, the 13th does not refer to here the 13th of the day which they fought, but it refers to the 13th, but when they fasted and they were maspalu. So if not because the Melchoma, because rather because of the days which she made over here, Thomas over here on the Megillah and Bain Tam.
Those are the times in Nisan.
Yeah, but no, also that day as well. The Bain Tam is mashman that day they also missed Asif from Maspala that day itself. If you write it was taking Nisan as well, but this is mashman Bain Tam. And the Bain Tam says this is the Makar for Tanas Esther from our Gemara because there is no major early Makar. Today we have certain Medrashim which mention it, but the Tam says the Gemara that where we have Makar for Tanas Esther because you see we're thinking that the 13th is the day which doesn't need the Rebbe. The 13th is connected to Purim, which is why we continue with Tanas Esther. The Shetan Bain Tam. So that's what the Bain Tam holds. What the Makar of Purim is over here or a fast over here.
No one asks why you can't do the 16th and why it doesn't mean 16th.
That's going to be the next kasha. The compare is a very big chiddush over here. It's Mar Rui Chachumim. Where the Chachumim see that we go back to the Achkes Ador to make Purim both days. They come the same day. We don't find every like you have Pesach on one day, you have Pesach. We have to because our calendar, but the Etzem Purim has to. Maybe Chanukah as well. Okay, they'll have Chof. Hey, we'll have Chovov. What's that? It's not a zach. Chazal knew that Purim people are always taking entire day mitzvah Siyum and Mishnah V'Simcha, and therefore the world cannot be without Torah. It cannot be. And therefore, the entire day everybody's busy with mitzvahs. Mitzvahs is beautiful, but Torah is a separate thing. The world is the Kedir, the Ham Volozhin. Well, he instituted the Volozhin. They should have always a mishmah to learn the entire time Torah. The entire time there should always be a Chabir learning the Torah. And after the Tanzer Rebbe Netzshul, my Rebbe, he instituted now since October 7th that every Tanzer Shtibel Netzshul has 24/7 people learning the entire time. Because there's a war, 24/7 people should be learning the entire time. Because Torah has a special sort of izgillah. So Sefer says that therefore the Chazal Masak Purim, they knew that people would be learning the entire time, so they said, you know what, let's have Purim 2 days. So therefore the Shulaim people, they can learn why everybody B'nai celebrates, and everybody else, they learn the next day as well over there. This is a larger conversation to get into. This I once heard from my recent captain from me that he heard from his Shiva in Kol Torah. His name was Diskin, I was first Moshe Diskin, I think it was, and sort of asked that how do we, but time zones, that's not really understandable because we're very good to Purim the whole day, but for some people, Purim finished, in Australia, it finished Purim already, and in America, it didn't start yet. So therefore, there's people learning the entire time, and this goes into the larger question of how we understand time zones in Shemayim. It could be doesn't work like that. It's not, I'm going to get lost in that sort of conversation. But the Shechem Sefer, that is why Chazal made over here 2 days of Purim in order to have the Torah throughout both days. Very with the question you just asked right now. The Aimer Shlitza V'Shivtza. You remember 2 days, maybe it means the 16th and 17th. Who says it means over here the 14th and 15th? Now, actually, it's impossible because the 17th will never, you never need the 17th. Because if you have the 13th already, have the 13th, and you have the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, and the week will never come out, you have actually the 17th. You need to say that the B'nai Kfar, either it can be the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. So there'll always be, whenever the Purim falls out, there'll never be, if it falls on a Sunday, they can read on Monday, because they can go forward, and they can go back as well. So it's not really possible to have shifts. It's not possible. So the most question, some of them say that Stam was asking of a shift. So other kind of say that in this time right now, we're sort of crazy from the concept of the 13th. We said, who said the 13th didn't exist? Like we said before, 13th is man killer call. That was the day before the war. The 13th is no shaykhs to Purim. So I was asking maybe only the 16th to the 17th. So the Gemara, but the Yavar means that this shall never be removed from Klai's too. But we're dashing as well over here. But the Yavar means to say that you're not allowed to pass Purim. Purim can only be the 14th, the 15th, and before that. But after the 15th Purim is over, you cannot continue going Purim. So therefore, Purim must be celebrated by the 15th and not before that. But it's interesting, there's a minig in many shuls, I don't know if the minig is in this shul, that they don't say Tachin on the 5th, on the 16th, on the 17th. No, it's because they say the Havman of the Gemara. The Gemara Havman to make Purim on the 17th, 16th, 17th. So if you have Havman of the Gemara, there's Purim today, so they don't say Tachin on those days. Some places they even have a shtickle Yom Tov in those days, even some Kehillas, some of the places. They say the Havman from the Gemara was Yom Tov. I think some of the Achronim, so why don't you also have in Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, all those days as well? I mean, that's not only a Havman, that's actually, today it's not Shaykh, but the Man Chazal, they celebrated Purim those days as well. So why only the Havman of the Gemara, the 16th and 17th, they celebrated Purim, and now unless they talking, what about over here, the earlier days? Someone asked over here. So the Master, they say in Tantazach, some of the say that we find when a person writes the Shem Hashem, you cannot erase the Shem Hashem. But if you write Lach Hashem, the Lamed you'll have to erase because that's not part of the Kedusha. But you write Elekei Chem, the Chof Mem you're not to erase. Why? Because even the Nitfa, something is Nitfa like Kedusha, if it's before, does not have the same Kedusha as afterwards. That's what I in the Hilchos Shabbos. So the Lamed, which is before the Shem Hashem, you could erase, but afterwards, although both are not part of Hashem's name, both are just there to sort of give, a sort of context for it, but it's different. So it does say as well that if you want to be nitfal, once you have Purim, you want to add on extra days on top of that. You want to continue from the Kedusha's Purim. You can continue that. You already have Purim. You're continuing from Purim. You can go on from Purim. So therefore, the 6th and 17th, you're continuing from Purim. Before Purim, United the Bank, fine, they had Purim as well, but you can't start Purim earlier. It's not, we don't have Purim, but once we have Purim, we can be Mamshech Purim. That's what they say over here. So Tzvi Hashferber was a roof here in London. He said, nice, I'm familiar with his works. So he said the Derech Tzachris, he says that Haman, the Velzog, so why did Haman want to kill all Yidden in one day? Haman, part of the scheme was I kill Yidden all in one day. Well, I take your time, it takes time to kill Yidden all in one day. He said Haman knew that if he won't be successful, the Yidden won't make a Yom Tov out of it. It didn't be like Pirate have an 8-day Yom Tov. You want it to be, it should be a 1-day Yom Tov. But this year, Shverbus, Bet and Haman wanted to kill Yidden even after Purim as well. He wanted to kill Yidden on the 15th, on the 16th, and the 17th. So we're celebrating if you Haman, but Haman, Hashem says this on Haman because we know what he wanted to do. It's they say what do we say over there? Lush over there. Yeah. If he shall do, what do you say over there? We said that only the Goyim, the Deacons over there, the Goyim, they know much more than us how much they want to destroy us. We don't know how many plans have fallen from the Goyim. We have no idea what else they want to do to us over here. The Deacons, I forgot the Deacons, I will come to me later again. Deacon, the Pasuk is that we know only they can tell us over here. So Haman, he planned on killing more days. So therefore, the shits of a shifter has a shaykh's Purim, and therefore some killers, they still keep a bit of Kedusha's Purim on those days. It's either Havman of the Gemara. Okay. Maybe this year you won't say Tachin over here in those days. But a different makar, a whole different how we know you celebrate 2 days. Purim. We say Yomim is Kayomim, Yomim is those 2 days, and Kayomim like the rabbis Eichadus Shnamus to Ma'abed the 11th and the 12th. But it's like Kayomim like the days to add another 2 days. Think I'm tries to, but like the same question, maybe only means the 13th and the 12th. I mean, 12 and the 12 and the 13th. You don't need to have a read for that. Think I'm a shit to the shit to maybe the 6th and 7th. We know we don't go past V'layav. Okay, that's all we settle right now. Why do you say like the first Madam of Bezmanayim and that person? He doesn't hold there's a chiluk between to make a dikim, his words changing from Zman as Manayim, but it's not a dikim to have its limits. Rav Shmuel Abba my time alone me kayumim avalach. Kayumim is not for this, but there is the Tzivs of Rashi to say that for all future generations you also make Purim on the 14th and 15th, so therefore we can't use the Kayumim. Tell us like the 14th, the 15th, make the 12th on the 11th. But the Kayumim means like you make the 14th, 15th the first year, and future generations as well, you make the 14th and 15th as well. This is a stam mission like a Kiva. The Jewish man's man is man, which he has his rush. And currently his mana, he only be Purim only the correct day. We didn't have the shitta, we'd only Purim only the 14th and the 15th. We just as a Bryce said, I'm to say Bisman Shashun Mekitikinan. We just says that when is this mission said we hear you read over here the 11th, the 12th, the 13th. This is all when there was Zmanim, the time, before the Charbin, when you're Makalash, you're Chaydish normally, and you didn't live with Yeshivam, Beruga Heights. It's true, the most of Bismana is there currently in our times after the Charbin. Cornelia Mestaknaba and Cornelia Bismana. People in the Chutzlords, we don't have any more Shlichim coming in over here. And therefore, we have a calendar. And therefore, people say Purim is that day. I know 30 days later is Pesach. Yeah. So now the village isn't something. Purim was on Wednesday, not on Thursday. So Purim is Pesach is going to be on Wednesday. The following, it's going to all be not going to work anymore. So therefore, there's a mistake over there. That's why you can only make Purim at the correct times. Then it's Rashi. Then some Rishonim, you don't understand Rashi. Going to Rashi, so what do you do if it comes on Shabbos? So then we do it earlier on Shabbos, right? We go a day earlier. Why we're not worried that they'll make next year, make a calculation, they'll say that Pesach should be a day earlier. Some Rishonim say, no, Shabbos is like call us. So they remember of course it was Shabbos. But the Rif, he says a whole different shot, he says that Hoy Mastakim is not referring to over here to the calendar. Rather, the Aniyim. Everybody knows that comes Purim, Kol HaPosh Yad Me'esmai. But if you start making over here Purim 11th, the 12th, the 13th, which is not really the days of Purim, so they're going to lose out over here. They're not going to get to Tzeduk anymore because when it comes to Shul, that's not really Purim today. We're reading Megillah. Purim is really in 2 days right now, but they came to Shul today because Megillah. They're waiting over there. This is the day they're waiting to get their money. So that's why Chazal said we can't change Purim. You have to keep Purim the correct day because otherwise people are not going to get what they were supposed to deserve to get. So okay, right now, so let's get some Bryce. Read the little bit man. Who's he be the Kohen to? He'll have a little bit of Rebbe Kiva. I feel a bit man is there. Who's still have to country? Rebbe Kiva. I'm sure they're going to Rebbe Kiva. And Rebbe Kiva, when was Rebbe Kiva? When did Rebbe Kiva live? After the Charbon. So obviously Rebbe Kiva is saying this after the Charbon. Elav lived the Rabbunon. He's the one going to Rabbunon. And you claim that the Rabbunon, they never held the Vestakuna. You hold the going to Rabbunon, you only read Megillah Bismana. So this verse that claims it was a shift in time. Prior to the Charbon, you read any day you wanted. After the Charbon, you read only that day. Who does this go according to? Rebbe Kiva holds this even after the Charbon, and Rabbunon holds even up before the Charbon as well. So the Gemara, and Vamsham the Gemara, if it's Mancha Shom Tekikinam Visushim, the Muslim we do read. So you have to continue the Kasher of Yechanan, and therefore we see that the Shittas Rabbunon they held. If there's no machlek, because everybody agrees to Rebbe Kiva that you read any day you want. You all of your base. Some say. They say this and the Chacham say Bekiva holds side before the Chacham, side after the Chacham. You always read whenever you want. Chacham say that was all very good once upon a time, but today now read only the correct time. The master, I mentioned that Rebbe Kiva is after the Charbon, but that's actually not so push. We know that more mentions Rebbe Kiva where he walked by the Charbon and he saw the foxes. So you see Rebbe Kiva lived through the Charbon, and we know Rebbe Kiva was born before the Charbon. So why is it more? Maybe that Rebbe Kiva is a shit that he said it before the Charbon. That's a kashrut kind of math. So the Ritva says that although Rebbe Kiva lived before the Charbon, but his main years which he taught was after the Charbon, and actually. We know Rebbe Kiva died in the Bakach revolt, which took around the place in the Common Era around 136. Around that's when he died in that year. The Gemara says Rebbe Kiva lived for 120 years. The Gemara says Rebbe Kiva the first 40 years didn't learn at all. Was Amuritz. The next 40 years he learned. And the next 40 years he taught. So they calculate Rebbe Kiva was born around the common year 10. Around that year he was born. Some say he was born actually year 0. As some people say he was born, but it's a separate calculation. But he was the closing Rebbe used to have a minute. He used to write. And he used to write the Goyish Shir. He used to write. Lamed Reish Ayin. He went to the Shnas latest Rebbe Kiva, to the birth of Rebbe Kiva. Instead of writing to the birth of Yashka, to the birth of Rebbe Kiva. But so that is how he used to write over there. But he generally was born around the year 10 most probably. So if he learned for the first 80 years, he didn't teach anything. So that means the Charbon was around in the 70s, those years. So therefore, Rabbi Kiva definitely only started teaching Torah after the Charbon. So it's like the Ritva said that Rabbi Kiva, if we have any Mishnayos from him, it's only post Charbon, and therefore that's the Gemara's Raya over here that Rabbi Kiva would not have said the statements. And Michael Brayso Kibida, because of that, he sets on the Brayso according to the Brayso. What's this kasha? And me, Rabbi Yida is mana zeh hoyle mistaklen bal anchor and eleb is mana very many asik kasha. Rabbi Yida, Amy said mukam shenach muslim shenach chamishi. This is all true places which they come in every Monday and Thursday. But mukam shenach muslim shenach chamishi in a place where they don't come Monday and Thursday, anchor is not even the correct. There's no point if they don't anyways come on Monday and Thursday. What's the point in me changing around? Makes it more deal over here. Mukam shenach muslim shenach chamishi. You couldn't do read over here. I feel it's not even this man is there. In my case, because the theory, because the reader said this man is there, you don't do it. So because he has a theory and a reader, one place to be that applies that this man is there you do, one place is on there you don't. The Michael Bryce the Krebet, it's not like a reader, it's like a reader, he does not a basically a reader. Fading more mission the Kashla, the reader, Michael Bryce Krebet, just a theory, reader, you know what? It was like a sun, my Chafesta. Where is the sun coming over here? So the Muir of Asher, Shmila the Ikka the Tunnel like a reader. He knew that some people learn Bryce like a reader. And Ikka the Tunnel like a reader, and he also heard someone is bracelet like a reader. He knew that this bracelet is taught in either a reader or a bracelet reader. In the Makashla, because he had a theory of reader, the reader, Omar, Mount the Tunnel reader, lav dafka, so that Mandom is incorrect. Rather, Mount the Tunnel Krebyoisi be the dafka, he is correct because I have a theory, so it must be that's the way here. So the Muir, Kokam Kufam Chaim Yes to Shibanin, Chaim Chemesh Usa. How do we know this over here? How do we know that they from Yes to Shibanin they read earlier? Omar over in Kushla Pusik, Al Kan Yidin have Pruzim. Pruzim is those which live in the open villages. A Yosh we are Pruzers. Shahad Pusik Oistim Eslima Ba'ot LaChodesh Uda Simchas Mishter Yamtiv. Is it right? With the Pusik says explicitly that the people in the Pruzim they make Purim every 40 on the 40th. That's the version of the Pusik. It doesn't say that the people. It says in Shusha made on the 15th. If it was right, now we know that there's 2 days of reading Purim, the 14th and the 15th. Once we establish the Pruzim from the Pruzim, Rabbi Usta. It's who does the second day? The because by logical elimination over here, they must do the next day. So perhaps in Purim they do only the 14th. In Mekufan Kavakal, maybe they don't read Megillah at all. They don't have Megillah at all. And the Ramban is Masber, what's the reason for that? Why not?
We say they don't have the Megillah at all.
Because the Ramban is Masber, and this is a whole theme Ramban has the Deacon, the Psikim. Most of the Eden lived at that point in Etzishon, right? And most Eden lived in fortified towns, and Etzishon because it's rebuilt already. And if you live in a fortified town, this never was a danger for them, really. They just locked the gates and everything was fine. Like the gates, who's going to come over here? The Iron Dome to protect them over, nothing to worry about it. There's only people who are afraid of the Chag, only the people which live in the Pruzes. Live in the Psikim and Marshals of the Ramban, they made a deal that the first year everybody celebrated. Yeah, very nice young thing. The next year, the people living in the village said, we're going to celebrate. The people living in the city said, we're not going to celebrate Purim. Why should we? Chazal came and said, no, you should also celebrate Purim. So the Ramban said there was a half minute to say, like the Gemara said, maybe should not Purim at all. What should I Purim for? And then the Gemara, first of all, why not? They're part of Klal Yisrael. It's an entire empire, and everything's included over here. Think about I'm a Pruzim about Usa, maybe the Pruzim they could be only the 14th, but the Pruzim, the Mekufas could be either the 14th or the 15th, whichever they want. The Ksiv after the Gemara. Lias Oistimus about Usa, Ula Chodesh, Uda, Vesemach Meshusta, Bechashuna. Yeah, Mekusa, Vesiyama, about Usa, Bechamesh Usa, Hedekama Sakri, still like you, because it could be either one. Hashlik Siv, Asa, Yama, about Usa, Vesim Chemeshusta, Usa, Ace, the Ace, if Mafsik, it's Mafsik, no, Ace is Mafsik, either this or this. Hana, Bausa, Hana, Chemeshusta. Think about I'm a Pruzim by Bausa, they in the 14th, and Mekuf, and Iboy by Bausa, by Chemeshusta, that's not both, but they could do either or, not both, but either or. Which is the Pusik we said before, Bismanehem, Zmana Shazeh, Leish Zmana Shazeh. Think the Aimet Lais, like we said before, maybe the Mekufin they go on the 13th. And who does the 15th? Can you my Shushim? The people in the Shushim do on the 15th. They'll do the 15th over here, you know? Because the Pusik is Befesh, the people in Shushim celebrate on the 15th. We just don't know what the people in Yishmaim celebrate. So maybe the people in Yishmaim celebrate the 13th. The people in the rest of the world can celebrate on the 14th. And the Bnei Shushim celebrate on the 15th. We don't know because Shushim. It should be no different than Shushim. We just say once the Pusik says the Bnei Shushim on the 15th, it's universal. Everybody which is Mekufim is Yemais Shibanin is on the 15th. Ashkechana see this all about the these Psikim says over here. Zmanayim Al Kanid Maprizim is referring to the Asir, referring to the eating of Mishta V'Simcha. Zechira, like at the end of Kriyas Megillah Menulan, where could the Megillah says both things. It's one you have to read and you have to be celebrated. So the guy, this particular one said a celebration. Who says the Kriyas Megillah is a different day? So the Gemara Makru, Yaviyom Ba'elin is scoring Menasum, Iskish Zechira Sia. It goes hand in hand. Wherever you have Zechira, you have also Sia on the same day. So the Gemara Maslisin Leika Tana, the mission does not go like according to the following Tana. Tana written the Brace, the Shiurim, and Kochayim. That doesn't go based on times of Yeshiva, but it's based on Cheshvayish, which makes sort of sense because that was the time when it happened over here. My time, the Yeshiva and Kocha, Shushan was a new city built by the Persians. There was only Mekuf from Cheshvayish, but couldn't be Chemeshusa. They make more sense. I mean, like Shachar Shushan, what should be different? The time they done, my time, what is the hold? Why is the hold? You go based on Yeshua, because Yalef proves it. It says over here, Al Kan Yidim Fruzim. Husam, when the Yidim came into Shul by Kibush Yeshua, it says Levad Ma'orah Pruzi Harba Ma'oid. There it's mentioned over there they conquered all the city of Shul. They mentioned all the cities of Chaim, excluding all the Orah Pruzias. We say, like over here, the Orah Pruzias means to exclude these 4 to 5 towns. So to the Megillah as well means the same thing. So it means those cities. The emes is, let's finish more over here. The last way proves doesn't hold this drash process, so therefore it holds. You go like a chazarish. Every time they done my time, which makes a lot of sense. You go after days of a chazarish. Look at my time. Who is by He had Xer Shova, my time. He has a dash, they dash Chazal, they have Pruzi today from the time of Yeshua. No, come on. Shushan, the other, come on, who is Shushan do like that? Shushan does not do, according to the Artana, why did Shushan line Purim on the 15th? Shushan line Purim on the 14th, because they don't have a Chem from the time of the Shibanim. Like a Pruz, like a Mekufan. Moreover, Kedi, some say it's a name, Kedi means from a Talmud a name, or maybe that was his name called Kedi. Shana Shushan Hoven after the nest, because Shushan has a special because the nest happened over this, therefore they have a uniqueness to they celebrate Purim on the 15th. So the master, it's still straight to understand. Why Taka celebrate Purim on the 15th? All these cities, there's no shach, they didn't even have towns. So then Ban, he has his explanation. He says because they actually weren't part of the nest, therefore they lived in their 4 to 5 towns. That's one mahallah. But some say think fakir, some say think fakir. They say that the emes is that at that point Israel was mamash at its low point. Most even delivered at Shul. Most cities in Shul were destroyed. If they were made, the Shati Shalmi this actually. If they were made according to be for the days of Achashvarosh, we would always remember like the destruction of Shul. Because of course, like, why not Tferya? Because Tferya didn't have a wall at that point. Why not Ishvan have a wall at that point? All the cities in Shul which had walls, and I remember that in Shul the cities had walls, that special dinim. But the Yerchaim, there was entire dinim, and it was special. They knew all about this. Therefore, they would constantly remember throughout the story of people. So could I not remember the design of Shul? But I said, let's make it to be not the walls of now, but the walls going back all the time to Shiva. That she was one that started with Mulek. Who was the first person to start battling the Mulek? Yeshua, when he came to Tzul. The mitzvah of Chis Mulek only began when he came to Tzul. No, Moshe Rabbeinu fought against the Mulek. That was before the mitzvah of Chis Mulek. The mitzvah of Tzimcha Zech HaMulek only starts. What? Yeah, so that was when the Mulek started Eden, but that wasn't the mitzvah of Chis Mulek. The Chis Mulek only started because of that. Sure. Yeah, true. But the mitzvah of Mechis HaMulek, there's 3 mitzvahs which came when Eden came to Tzul. Melech, building Beis Hamikdash, and Mechis HaMulek. It's only once he came into Shul. Mechis HaMulek was not a Mechis before that. What? In the class as well. No, Yom Kippur was before that as well, I believe. But those are just like attempts. We say, but these are unique 3 mitzvahs over there. So therefore, that's a mitzvah. Therefore, goes Yeshua started the mitzvah, we go bust to that time. All right, I just need to finish up over here because we have only 1 more minute. So in Bishlam Metami the Dawn, Hainu the Ksiv, Medina, Ve'ir. Medina, like everybody's familiar with, once upon a time, city-states. We talk about the great Greek Athens, and they were own every spot. Each of them own. Medina means a city-state. That's what it means over here. It doesn't mean like we use Medina for a whole country, but that was meant more like a city-state. Medina lachalik be mekufah chayim mes shibanin mekufah chayim mes. You can have some Medinas which read Megillah on the 14th, and some which read on the 15th. Depends when they had a chayim. Ir nama. Because Ir implies those that didn't have a chayim at all, but they're also is the Chalik Mashushan Asharius, because Shushan Be'etzem is not didn't have a wall from the time of the Shir Banin. But still, Shushan is different than other eras. This still read Megillah on the 15th. Elib Shir and Karcha, Bishlam Medina Lechalik Bain, Bekufan Chayme, Mesechta Megilla Daf, L'Shaim Bekufan Chayme, Mesechta Megilla Daf. So Medina means that some cities which have a wall do Megillah, some don't read Megillah on the 15th. Eli Ivi Lemayusa. According to him, Shushan falls into the first category. There's no, according to our Talmud, there's three sort of categories. There's the ear like Shushan, there's fortified towns like Yerushalayim, let's say, and then there's a regular town. But according to him, there's only two. There's Shushan and there's not Shushan. There's nothing else. According to our Talmud, is any better. Even the Isla Puza Medina Lamani, we already have a plus of Puza. What another plus of Medina? We know there's already a chiluk between what type of town it is. There was the comes of different dash completely. The Shima Levi does the Dumashima Levi, call a krach, we call a thumakloi, the Cholhanir. Only a town which has, let's say, Yerushalayim, everything surrounding Shem also reads on the 50th as well. Call a thumakloi. Speak about Nidin Krach, the Lolik Krach. That come and how far? Like from Hamson at Fair, which is a mill. That distance. Just say mill, why are you saying Hamson at Fair? Well, Kamashman on the sheer, the mill, Kamahava Hamson at Fair, because how much is a mill? Go measure. If you measure from Hamson at Fair, that's how much a mill is over here. So this is a big conversation. I'm not going to get into it right now. But when we stay over here.
Like a crow 5 or
so that's a big shot of how you measure it over here and how we can connect it. And does it mean the whole city has to be within the mill or just start with the city? And how can you connect it? And this is very negai, and it's still befrat all the surrounding cities around Yerushalayim, like Ramot, all the places where they read Megillah on the 14th and the 15th. Today they do read it because today it's all connected, properly connected to one big city. The Sant, when the Ramot was originally built, there was over there a roof called the Mendelssohn. You know Mendelssohn's Pizza from Bar Park. Familiar with? Okay, it's Eichmann Avenue, very famous. Yeah, very famous. You know, so therefore he was a chushav. He became ruler of Ramot. He was a Polish Shiit. And he held you have to read Purim. I don't remember which day it was. It's not relevant for the story. It was the 14th or 15th of Ramot. Now, the Charedes, they disagreed with him. He sent them a letter that he's wrong. They can't read Purim on that day. It's the wrong day. So he just sent back to them a letter. He said, they don't understand. If you're coming in something to do in my town, that's not correct. A Rav should not tell no Rav in a different town what to do over here. Elima, you believe that your Ramot is part of Yerushalayim, which is why you can give your opinion because he's part of Yerushalayim. So why are you disagreeing with me? No, if you're giving me opinion, you're applying on part of your town, and I'm doing from the correct day. If I'm not part of your town, then don't tell me what to do. I'm a different town completely over here. So that was his what he said over here.
Sure.